crush your excuses. We're in this series where we are speaking about ihsan, this amazing concept of not doing your best, but doing better and better every day in all areas of your life. And so today we are in video number 3, our step number 2, and how we do better and better every day, and that is crush your excuses. Because in video number 1 we spoke about what it means to do better and better. As Imam Shafi'i, he says, in life either you are progressing or you're dying. There's only two options. Either you're moving forward in life or moving backward in all areas of your life. Either your business is growing or competitors are taking over. Either your relationship, even if you're married for 15 years, 20 years, either it's growing or it's actually dying and you're becoming roommates. In life, your relationships, your businesses, your careers, your community is either progressing or is going backward. There's no such thing as I'm at a good place, I'm just going to stay here. Because the world is moving. And if you're not moving, and you're actually moving either direction. And so in this step number 1 we spoke about in the previous video, was video number 2, we spoke about building a bolder vision, having a bigger goal in all areas of your life. And now once you have bigger goals for each of your life, so that you can achieve and you can do better and better every day, so that when I see you 5 years from now, you're not who you are today, because you're progressing. You are someone that is having ihsan in every angle of your life. And so in our step number 2 in this video, we're speaking about crushing your excuses. Because once you have a bigger goal, you're going to want to look back and say, you know what, but it's not possible. Look at my life, look at my finances, look at my family dynamics, look at where I was born. You're going to find all the excuses as to why you can't get to the goals that you want to get to. So you're going to have to crush your excuses. I want to tell you about an amazing, inspirational woman. Her name is Sister Madonna. She was born in the 1930s in St. Louis, Missouri. And at age 14, she decided that she wanted to be a nun. And so at age 26, she joined a convent. And she decided, and she, put herself for a life of celibacy and dedication to God. And for 47 years, up until age 47, she, was, involved in the Sisters for the Christian Community in Washington State. And at age 47, something fascinating happened in her life that turned her life around. She was attending a lecture, she was attending a service by, Father John, one of the bishops, and he spoke about running for God. And so at age 47, she picked up a new hobby, running. At age 47. And, all this years, she was not into sports. She was not into marathons. For 47-year-old woman, for all her life, she's just been in service of God, and been in the churches, been in ministry. And at age 47, she decides that she wants to run. And she joined running groups. With the permission of her bishop, she joins the running group, and in that running group she learns about something called triathlons. Now, if you don't know what triathlons are, these are the most extreme one-day sporting event in the world. It involves 2.4 miles of swimming, 26 miles of marathon running, and 112 miles of bicycling, all done within the same time. This is marathon on steroids, and it involves swimming, biking, and running. And so she joined this, crazy, one-day event, and she started to, compete. And at age 52, she competed in her first triathlon, and this is called the Ironman, and happens in Hawaii at age 47, without a wetsuit and with a bike that she got from a police auction. This woman crushed her excuses. Whatever excuse she had, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60. You know what? I can't do that. I can't get into this kind of extreme sports now. She made her. When I tell you, can you think about someone? If I were to ask you, think about a person who's in their 80s. Think about someone. Just take a few seconds. I want you to picture someone who is 80 years old. What comes to your mind? You might think hunchback, going to doctor's office a lot, have broken bones. Let me tell you, this woman, at 52, she competes for her first triathlon, and had she was training when she would go to the local prison to give service. She would jog there at local lake. She would swim. She would run 40 miles, and she would bike 40 miles, and she would run and jog to her prison where she was giving service, and she was training her body. This is a 50-year-old, and by the time in 2012, she started this back in 1970. When there was no even swimsuit was not even invented, wetsuit was not even invented, and she feared being in this all this claustrophobic and sitting on a bike for 112 miles and hurting her behind, but she crushed her excuses, and she kept on joining more and more, and by 2012, in 2012, she opened up a new category because she was already 80 years old, and by 2012 she had when she competed for Ironman triathlon, she opened up a new category called 80 plus, and she was the only she basically broke that category by herself. She opened that new category called 80 plus, competing in an Ironman triathlon. And at one of these sporting events in Hawaii, she was going down, and she was going up a hill, and it was she was trying to make up some time going downhill. She was clocking 80, 90 miles per hour, and there was this gust of wind, 15 miles, just threw her to the side, and she actually had an accident at one of these events, and she had 20 stitches. Did she stop? She said, what, I think I've done enough. I've competed in so many triathlons, so this is the most extreme sport in the world. And at age 70, at age 80, no, she didn't give up. And to this day, she has clocked in about 300 and something, triathlons and 40 something Ironman. And so this is someone who crushed her excuses. She didn't let her excuses hold her back from the bolder vision that she had for herself. And I'm telling you in this video, and I'm about the goals that you have, whether it be a career goal, whether it be your goal in your college, goal in going to a graduate school, whether it be that your relationship with your son, with your daughter, it's so have been so broken, and since he went to college, since she moved out, and you think it's just not possible. I'm telling you, if you build a bigger goal, then you have to let go of your excuses. No matter where you are in your life, no matter what circumstance you are in your life, you could make it happen. You could take steps towards it. Of course, what is realistic, what is feasible for you, but you could get better and better every day. You could, improve. Sheikh Hudayfi, who is the Imam of Medina, the biggest Imam of Medina, did you know that he started memorizing Quran at age 30? Age 30. And he finished memorizing Quran at age 35. So if you have a goal for memorizing Quran and you think you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, you still have time. Crush your excuses. Some people, by the time they get to 60 years old, they're just waiting for retirement. They're just waiting for death, rather. And when did you see that Rasulullah ﷺ went on retirement? Have you ever heard that Sahaba was in retirement? Or that Rasulullah, after a certain age, he said, I'm in retirement now. Have you heard that concept before? Of course. But if you get to 70 and you have illnesses, of course your motion slows down. Of course you're doing less things. But that doesn't mean your life stops. Just because your kids graduated, just because they're now married, just because you're a doesn't mean your vision in life, your contribution to the world stops. It might be a little smaller than someone who's in their 20s. You keep doing a little less in a day. You're spending more time in the bed, more time going to doctors. But still, you have to have a goal and ambition till your death. You have to have bigger vision for your body, bigger, bolder vision for your family, bolder vision for the community. You might think our community just crushed. We are going through too much. There's a big feud between two masjid, big feud between Muslim personalities, big feud between organizations, and we can't move forward from here. If you build a better vision, you can let go of excuses and know that you can get better. And in 1 day from now, 2 days from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you can get better if you take a step and step every single day. But you have to crush your belief system that you have, crush those excuses that you have that are not helping you. No matter where you start off in life, You could have grown up in a family where your mother was a single mother. You could have, like Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i, grew up. His mother was a single mother, and she traveled all the way from Palestine to Mecca to have her son pursue higher Islamic studies. Imam Shafi'i, his mother was a single woman, and she made this journey, and we have Imam Shafi'i. And so, crush your excuses. Maybe you grew up in a household where you have to think about the next meal. Maybe you're saying, you know what, I was already 6 years in college, I'm still not finishing my bachelor's, I'm just struggling. Crush your excuses. Maybe you gotta take a different step, a better step. Maybe you gotta change your path to what more fits you. But you can improve and get better every day, day in and day out. So it's not just don't do your best, but do better. And when you do that, is in step number 2, you have to crush your excuses. If I'll ask you this, the goal that you have right now, if it's really something that you really care about, because the goal in a step number 1, we talked about building a bigger vision and building bigger goal, but that goal has to be something that you really care about, not some random, not something what someone else told you. Because if that's your goal, then it's not going to work. But if this is a goal, that's something you really care about, and it matters to you, then crush those excuses. And I'll tell you this, ask you this question, the goal that you have right now that you really care about, and it is realistic and a little more than realistic, and little one step above, like as we spoke about in the last video, in video number 2. Once that has happened, ask you this question. If I were to give you $1 million, and I said, look, if you achieve this goal, you'll get $1 million. Would you make it happen? You would make it happen. You're not going to find excuses. You say, you know what, I'll make it happen. I'm telling you, you have to have that much passion, that much, power when it comes to your goals and ambition that you have. I will leave you with this. There was a story, and maybe some of you have heard this story, about this young man who wanted to, learn about finance. So he went to a finance guru, and this guru is going to teach him about business, entrepreneurship. And so he went to him and says, I want to set a time with you, and I want to learn. He said, okay, no problem, come tomorrow. To where? Your office? No, come tomorrow to the beach. He said, beach? What am I going to do there? So this young man, he wants to follow this guru, so he wears a suit, he comes to the beach, and this old man, he's in the water. And so, this young man, he came to learn from this guru, and he's like, why is he in the water? He said, come here. He said, I came here to learn about entrepreneurship, business, finance. Why in the water? He said, no, just come. So, the young man, he hesitantly goes in. Maybe he wets his, suit, brand new, whatever. He goes in the water. And as soon as, he gets to this old man, the old man all of a sudden grabs his head and shoves it into the water, right? And he's breathing for, he's breathing for air. And he says, what would you do that for? Oh, that was uncalled for. And the old man said, that was your lesson. He said, lesson? I didn't learn anything about business or finance. He said, when you were under that water, how much did you want your breath? He said, I wanted that breath. The young man said, I wanted that breath like nothing else. I would pay anything to make that, get that breath when I was running out of breath. He said, you got to want your success. You got to want your goal that you have like you wanted that breath when you're underwater and you're suffocating. If it's not pumping you up every day in the morning, if it's not kicking you in behind, you're getting up and crushing the excuses, then that's a goal that, as I was talking about step number 1, you don't really care about. And if you care about that goal, then step number 2, in this video I'm telling you, crush your excuses. Let go of the excuses. Don't blame someone else. Don't blame an event that happened in your life. Yes, feel the pain. Yes, cry. Yes, say that, it sucked what I went through. But guess what? You're going to have to take some steps. You're going to have to crush your excuses and take the next step to get better and better. Maybe not have the whole vision in one day. It takes pieces. But crush your excuses. I'll see you in video number 2 where we talk about just taking action.